Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Robbo's Gobcast Sports Show. Today, we are doing all things Formula One. If you don't know before, or if you haven't seen, or if you're watching us for the first time, welcome. There's one individual that knows the bare minimum. We have Josh, who is the expert, who knows everything upon anything. I picked you up there, so you have to come out with it now. And we've got Connor, who is a fan's perspective of it, and he will be becoming the pundit slash the social media guru, where he will be looking around to find out what you guys have been saying about certain situations moving on in the future. But today, we're just going to go through the latest roundup of news, and we're going to end in a question that we want all of you guys to get involved as well. And we want to see your opinion on everything that's going on as well. So as I said before, if you don't know, down below in the description is a link to all of our social media pages. And we are doing something a bit different. This week we have set up a specialized Robbo's Gobcast, Jesus, that mouth work there, Gobcast F1 show. Basically, all of that account will just be tweeting about Formula One. We also have a specialized wrestling. He's cleaning down there. You know when you watch Sky Sports and you're watching the football, and it's raining, and someone comes in with like a towel or something to do the camera. That's just what happened there. Oh, there's actually better. And we've got a wrestling specific, and we've got an NFL plus the sports show in general, where that one will just be an overview, majority about football, but an overview on everything else that's going on as well. So don't forget to go and follow us there. We gained quite a lot of followers the past few weeks. So thank you ever so much to everyone that's joining us. We're having some reshuffles on other podcasts and other things going on, so we can start building 2021 to make it a bit different and a bit more specific for people. The people that have knowledge of it, but people that don't. We want to cater for everyone on this podcast as well. So yeah, don't forget to go and do that. Before we get into all things Formula One, we have just got notified that the UK is going into another lockdown part 2, which means only one thing: I am going back on TikTok. Because I'm turning to Charlie D'Amelio. By the end of this, I'm going to dance like Addison Rae and Charlie D'Amelio. I'm telling you, I'm going to have the dance moves like them. So which means I'm going to get bored and I'm going to start making TikToks again. We all know it's going to happen, and we're going to start posting it on the Robbo's Gobcast. We've got a TikTok account for the Robbo's Gobcast as well. Not that I've posted anything on there, but I might start doing too very, very soon. We might get these two involved as well, where they have to do a dance and send it and then put it into a little video. We're going to have a bit of fun. We're not going to take, but if you guys are suffering.
That should be the forfeit for the end of the season for the predictions.
Yeah.
No, because I like doing it, so I would just lose on purpose just so I could do a dance. So that's just unfair. I need to find something that I'm really going to hate.
Literally, just scrap the podcast and just be full-time TikTokers.
Full-time TikTok.
Do you know what? You actually get paid quite a bit for that as well. It's quite funny. I've actually if I hit over 10,000 followers on TikTok, I can get money for doing TikTok. So please subscribe.
Get Mark TikTok verified. Get Mark TikTok verified.
Get me verified, and man, we would be living. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, and we know that lockdown's going to affect people in certain or different ways. But what we want to say on here is what we always say. If you are affected by anything, if there's anything that you're struggling, or there's anything that you feel uncomfortable with, or you don't want to talk about family members, but you just want to have a chat with someone, don't forget our DMs are open. We're happy to talk with anyone about anything. We're happy to have a chat with you. I'm happy to sit down on one of these Zoom calls with you, where you can just let rip what's wrong with you, what's up, what's going on. And maybe we might bring you on the podcast as well, just to get involved and have a bit of fun. But that's all up to you guys. If you want to come on, if you want to talk, if you want to do what you want. But let's get into it. So we've just had some breaking news before we've recorded this podcast. Lando Norris has been tested positive for COVID. He lost his sense of smell and lost his sense of taste while he is on holiday at the moment in Dubai, just before he goes back for pre-season testing. And McLaren have said before they gets back to their warehouse to start prepping for the new season. He's come out. So now he is self-isolating for 14 days. Not being funny, it's not a bad place to self-isolate, is it? In Dubai. No, I'm not even going to go with that. So he's gone there for 14. He's got to stay there 14 days before he comes back. He's told people that he's been in contact with as well, about that as well. So talking of COVID, it's looking like as well, going into the main talking point of why we brought this up, that the Australian Grand Prix could be postponed to either a later date, or it won't be going there at all, and they could just miss that race off and go to another race. What was your guys' take on that? Josh, I'm going to go to you first.
It makes sense a bit because of, obviously, with high case numbers and etc. I think in Australia they're getting hit by a second wave as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really too sure in Australia how Australia.
It's that they're doing really strict people coming in. That's why.
So obviously that means it's hard for the F1 circus as it is to just turn up with hundreds of crew members, drivers, press, etc., to all come in. And even though they're quite good with following the COVID regulations, and there's less and less, or by the end of it, there's about equal amounts of test results coming back positive. So also as the start of it back in Austria, it's still the fact that it takes a lot for them to have everyone go out, or even a smaller group like they did for a lot of this season, for a smaller amount of people to go out. It's a lot harder to get that many people halfway across the world to have this F1 circus turn up.
Yeah, there's two ways that this is going to be. There's two ways that the Formula One can get around this. The two ways are, one of them is that they have to turn up at the track 14 days before the first race, which there will be a quarantined period, or the other way is a F1 bubble, where they're only allowed to go into Melbourne, stay in Melbourne, and not be able to leave, and literally just stay in that area. They can't go out, they can't do anything. It will just be in that bubble. Connor, do you think this is going to have a big impact on the Formula One season, or is this just going to be...
Is that 14 days before practice one, or 14 days before the race?
14 days before they can start practicing.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to see it happen, because obviously what happened last season, you almost think it's going to be the repeat, and then there's just going to be a massive gap in the season. But then again, you don't want to see people's lives being put at risk, and so I think if they do cancel it, I think they've made the right decision, because they're protecting everyone that's there, and then they're also protecting when the drivers move off into different countries as well. So I think it's the right option if FIA decide to do it.
Josh, I'm going to go into you. We put it out on Twitter that this was going to happen. What would they do? We had a couple of people come back and say, keep it in Bahrain, like back to back, but with the first one, do the Bahrain Part 2, as I like to call it, and the oval track as the first one of the race, as people saying that it was more entertaining, and that was better than what the Australian Grand Prix actually brings. Would you be happy with that?
I like Australia. I quite like the Australian Grand Prix as a circuit. I think it's a good season opener, but I wouldn't be against a Bahrain season opener. But however, I would put the second Bahrain race second again. I'd have the actual normal layout that we use for F1 first, as I think it's a bit better to have the season opener as a bit more of a bog standard race, just to see where everyone's at almost, and then go into the you know, you don't see F1 start off with Monza and Spa and stuff. They build into those bigger, more exciting races. Sometimes I think you need a more bog standard race to start off with. So I think we'd be better off if we do a double back-to-back Bahrain, starting off with our normal layout and then go into the short, high-speed oval layout second.
Perfect. As it's just been told as well, we're talking of Bahrain, we keep on the subject of that. We've just seen here and been told that Catalonia will not be having pre-season testing this year. It will be at Bahrain this year as well.
At the moment, at least. Anyway,
at the moment, anyway. Do you think that's going to help people? Because I think the Catalonia circuit, as we both know, this is Josh's least favourite track. One of Josh's least favourite tracks going, but it's also good for the handling and to get a bit of understanding about the car. How much do you think this is going to affect the teams going into it? Do you think it's going to make any effect at all?
I think so. I've got motorsport.com up, which is where I've got the article from. But basically, they said all the teams agreed to remain at Catalonia in Spain for the single 3-day tests. However, due to the Australian Grand Prix postponement set to change logistical plans, the teams have agreed to be the best move to move testing to Bahrain. This is to do with the amount of shipping and stuff they have to take in, so they can do testing and then stay in Bahrain in a little bubble for a couple of days or weeks before starting the season, and it saves shipping costs as well.
Connor,
you don't have to ship out all this stuff to Bahrain or to Spain to ship it to Bahrain when you can just do back-to-back Bahrain.
Yeah, I think I do agree with Josh on that one. I think it would be a massive logistics issue to move everything you've got from Barcelona to then move it to Bahrain, and it would just take too much time. It would take a lot of money for the teams. So I think if they can keep it in Barcelona, but if they can't, then you would have to move it to Bahrain. But it just depends on COVID in them current places and how it's panning out, and if there's going to be a rise in either place, or if it's going to if the line is going to flatten out or what. I think at the moment it's down to you don't know whether something's going to happen, but it's just play it by ear for most teams, I think.
Perfect. Right, we've just got some breaking news. While we were just recording, Williams have just announced that they are extending their partnership with Mercedes from 2022. It has been announced that they're expanding the collaboration, where they will be using, where the team are set to use their gearbox supplied by the Silver Arrows and other transferable components. It's also just being said that with the growth of Formula One, it seems to make more sense that Williams and Mercedes are going to be expanding their partnership. Roberts, who is the director of Williams, said, "I'm pleased to see our great relationship with Mercedes extend beyond the supply of engines. Williams is an independent team, but Formula One's is always evolving, and as a team, we must agile to react to the current climate in order to put the team in the best position to be competitive on the track. The long-term agreement with Mercedes is a positive step and forms of our strategy objects for the future, whilst we still retain our design and manufacturing capabilities in-house." Toto Wolff has come out and said that we are pleased to expand our technical operations with Williams through this new agreement. For Williams, it makes sense to acquire the powertrain after running our power units since 2014. And for our team, it makes sense in terms of economics of the scale to supply another team under the new rules. This is a project we have been discussing with Williams for some time, and we're glad we are able to bring the extension to fruition. with that breaking news that's just come out, Josh, I'm going to go to you first. What does that mean for Williams? Is that going to mean now that in the future they're going to start becoming more competitive again now?
They'll definitely start to become more competitive again. I think this can only be a good thing for Williams, other than the amount of money they might have to end up spending if they do become competitive. However, I would also like to point out, under Claire Williams and the Williams family, this deal probably doesn't happen because they wanted to keep their independence and do it all themselves like the family did, which I think is somewhere where they went wrong a bit, where Simon Roberts, who's sort of not really, or he doesn't have any affiliation to the Williams family other than working under Claire Williams for a period of time. He's done what's best logistically for them, which is to take on Mercedes sponsor and become a bit of a Mercedes B team. But in the long run, they'll become more competitive. And yeah, it might cost them a bit more to pay Mercedes all this money. Like Soto said, it's good economically for Mercedes. So obviously, they're getting a good bit of Wonga out of it. So yeah, it's one of those that it'd be good for Williams in the long term and in the short term, and we'll see them progress. But it could cost them a bit of money if they progress too much.
Connor, what is your first take on this announcement?
I think it's very good for Williams because they've been the past few seasons they haven't been the best team on the track by far. They've been right down there, and I think it's good because if you look at Russell, obviously the car is not the same, the engine is not the same, but the way he raced when he was in that Mercedes car at Bahrain Part 2, I think if you're taking some of the things that are in that car and putting them in a Williams car, I think George Russell then might race a little bit better than what he was doing this season, last season.
It's interesting. I'm looking through here at some of the stuff. And Mercedes have said that they paid 137 million to buy the Formula One team. It's just that the monies that they're talking, it's just unreal. Let's move on and let's carry on with the Mercedes chat. And let's talk about Lewis Hamilton. Before we get into the Lewis Hamilton contract situation, I want to talk about Lewis Hamilton being knighted. I think we can probably all agree on here that maybe we may not, that he does deserve the knighthood for all of the work that he's done, not only in Formula One, but all the work that he does off track with Black Lives Matter, with all the charities, with all the diversity as well, in Formula One as well. I mean, he's someone who, in my opinion, will go down as one, won't go down now, but is always one of those, once they leave, you then realise how good that person was. And for me, he will go down as one of the best drivers ever. Lewis, what's your take on, actually, no, I'll go to you all the time first, fuck you. Connor, I'm going to go to you. What is your take on Lewis Hamilton being knighted by the Queen or Charles or Camilla or whoever the fuck wants to turn up?
He fully deserved it. Like you said, not just for the fact that he's an incredible driver, and he's probably the best driver we've seen in the past 10 years, 15 years. I think also the work, like you said, he's doing off track when he's helping out the charity. He sort of bring how he feels about the Black Lives Matter into F1. And that's good because then people notice it more. Because if you're bringing it into a sporting event where people can only watch it on telly, and you've got both of your cars representing that and your race suit, I think that creates a lot of publicity. So yeah, I think the work he's done for them, the work he's done for the charities, and I just think he fully deserves it, and it's the right decision.
Josh?
I think he definitely deserves it, especially for the whole work that he's doing, Black Lives Matter, and trying to lower his carbon emissions and trying to force everyone into this new era of not using as much carbon and petrol and things like that and try to go hybrid and electric with the cars and stuff. He definitely deserves it. Obviously, the Lewis hate crew have come out and been like, Lewis Hamilton doesn't deserve his knighthood. He's done nothing. Blah, 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 blah. Lewis hate crew, basically. And I think he's fully deserving of everything he's received. And he easily is the best driver we've seen for the past decade. Just to think that he's won 7 World Championships, 6 since 2014, 6 out of 7. So yeah, easily deserves it.
Let's go on to the flip side of Lewis Hamilton at the moment. He still hasn't signed his contract. And reportedly, according to some sources saying, George Russell has a deal in place if Lewis doesn't sign as soon as he does. And the third-party owners are not happy with Lewis's attitude problem. Josh, I know you were the one who wanted to discuss this, so I'm going to let you go into a little bit more detail about what you found and what you think could happen.
So Express have reported that Lewis Hamilton's attitude problem makes Mercedes seriously consider George Russell deal. So according to the Express, third-party owners of Mercedes, Daimler, I think that's how you pronounce it, don't want to fold into Lewis's demands, wanting £35.5 million a year on his new contract to easily keep him the number one paid driver. And they don't want to cower to his demands due to his poor attitude, I assume, around the team, from what they see. So this means that I think Mercedes will have a contract ready for George Russell in place in case either Daimler don't agree to help cough up the funds for it, and if Lewis doesn't want to sign a deal. This is obviously only reported, but Lewis still not signing a deal is now 2021 season's 2.5, 3 months away. It won't only just leave an issue for Mercedes. Mercedes also have to think, we've got to buy out Russell's contract at Williams and give him our contract, whilst also leaving Williams enough time to sort out their drivers, which I think they just put Jack Aitken in the car anyway.
Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it would be looking at it as a fan of F1 and not like Josh who knows the ins and outs of every single thing. I think it's massive because the fact he's taken this long to sign the contract, it's got me thinking, is it because he's hesitant that he wants to be there? Has something happened that has made him thought maybe I shouldn't go on to race again with Mercedes this year? Because I recall, I think he was saying that he wants to get another world championship. And yeah, he could probably easily do it. But yeah, I just don't know. And then obviously the talk about George Russell, that would be an absolutely massive move for him, moving from Williams to Mercedes. And you've seen how well he can race in a Mercedes car already in Bahrain Part 2. Obviously, it's a different season, but I think he'll be a big addition to the team with Bottas. But yeah, I just think that does Hamilton really want it for the fact that he's waiting this long to sign the contract?
Jesus, I'm just reading some of the reports of how much he rejected. Apparently, he rejected a 4-year deal worth 200 million, including several other perks, including 10% of the team's winnings in the championship winning season. Jesus Christ.
Well, it proves he doesn't want to be there long term, doesn't it? If he doesn't want to sign a 4-year deal worth £50 million a year, which I obviously would include bonuses, I assume.
Do you okay? So this is a question I've seen. Has he priced himself out of a seat? Are Mercedes going to cower into him, and do we see him in a Mercedes seats come in what, 2 months' time?
He will squeeze every last drop out of Mercedes which he can, which could also include doing a Prost and winning the title and going, you know what, bye-bye, I'm off, not defending it, because if he's got no incentive to do it, what's the point? Teams are winning for 2022.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Okay, Connor, will Lewis be there at the start of the season?
To be honest with you, I don't know. It's hard to tell because we don't know obviously we know the things that Mercedes have released and the things that like the contract negotiations, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes other than what Mercedes have let out. We don't know if there's been any further talks with Mercedes about other contracts, or we don't know if there's been talks with other teams about other contracts. But I just think we've just got to wait until Mercedes say it once and for all if Hamilton is going to be there next season or if he's going to be leaving.
Move on to something quite funny-ish that I have found out. Haas are using a lie detector test during Mazapin's testing indoor and outdoor testing. I can't get through this without laughing because it's something so fucking ridiculous. They are going to put a lie detector test on him to try and reduce stress.
Oh, this is such a Haas thing to do.
It's
such a Haas thing, isn't it?
Do you know what? It's so stupid and so ridiculous that it's more funny.
It is serious. I hadn't heard that, so when you were reading this out, I was like, "Oh God!"
So it has been reported due to certain people. There's a certain person who I trust very much so who does F1 news. And he has come out and said that to try and get Mazepin's temper down. And to try and not get him so he can keep his cool throughout the race and certain things don't affect him. They've decided to put a lie detector so that he could try and be
but all it takes is something that he doesn't want to come out as a lie and then he gets stressed because he's been found out. You see Jeremy Kyle at the track in Australia on the grid of him.
We're gonna fucking judge Rinder in the fucking pit lane, aren't we?
Jeremy Kyle's got a new gig. It's a new ITV show following Mazepin.
I tell you what, I would watch it. I'm not going to lie, I would watch it.
It'd be brilliant.
I would watch that just to see what actually happens.
That's a joke. That's so stupid, man.
Do you know what? I slightly want to be next to the lie detector results just to see what's going on and see if it actually.
100%.
Is this scientifically proven that it can reduce stress and can reduce him from going apeshit? Or is this just another way for Haas to try and maybe deflect what he's done off the past with something ridiculous like this? Help me out here. Someone help me out. Connor, what do you make of this?
It's just funny. There's nothing really, like you said, unless it's been scientifically proven that sticking a lie detector test on it is going to help him and help his temper, then I don't see any point in doing it at all.
The first thing that's come up when can lie detector test reduce stress? Lie detectors, why they don't work and why police use them anyway. So it might not work. It might just make it. If anything, I think that'll make him more stressed. Surely. Definitely. If something come back and it's like, "Oh, did you mean to put that on your Instagram story?" He says, "No." It comes back truth. Like that's gonna just make him angrier, isn't it? Surely, he's gonna get so much more angry. Well, then he's just going to do a Roman Rosen and go flying through the field and hit someone.
Do you know what? I slightly can't wait for the 2022 Drive to Survive series. I can't wait for this one to come out. But I can't wait for next year's one to see what they do when they follow him.
Follow Haas and Mazepin. Haas is always a shit show on that thing anyway. Because
Is it? What the fuck do you think you're doing? You're making me look like a wanker.
Oh God! Like, wankers. He's gonna. If Mazepin makes it past halfway through this season, then he's gonna win the world championship.
It's going to go one of two ways. He's either going to do absolutely phenomenal that we're just going to go, all right, fair play. You can drive.
You're quick.
You're good. You're good. Okay, I'll give you that. Or it's going to go, what is this dickhead doing on here? Oh,
Not just average. It's physically impossible for that man to be average.
That's what she said.
Well, hey.
That's such a bad thing to say about that person as well.
You've been watching The American Office too much.
I have been. I've finished watching. I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine again. Anyway, enough about what I watch. Alex Albon. Let's go on to him before we do. My head is still laughing at the lie detector. Anyway, Alex Albon has been announced that he will be driving for DTM on and off without when it's not contradicting to the F1 season. Good move, I think. Don't you? It's another type of racing that he hasn't done before. Could help his growth for when he eventually gets back into a Red Bull or an AlphaTauri seat in 2022. Whatever they're going to be doing with Albon from here on out is definitely going to be building back for him to get back into that 2022 seat. Josh, what have you made of this?
It's good for Albon to go to DTM as it keeps his freshness up and like his racecraft will be up. However, DTM cars are completely different to F1 cars. They're GT cars. They're big. They're a bit more, I don't know. It's a different type of racing. Obviously, it's still proper like racing and it's wheel to wheel and stuff, but it's not like F1 really at all. They're GT cars. They're big. They're a bit more sturdy, shall we say, where F1's a bit on the ragged edge. So it'll be interesting to see. But if he goes to DTM and does well in the races like that he's competing in, then why can't we see him come back in race for Red Bull or come back in for a different team at some point?
Connor?
Yeah, I think I just don't. I'm not really sure on it, to be fair, because I've never really looked into DTM in detail and looked like what kind of racing it is, how it compares to F1, what the difference is. Obviously, I know there's different cars and different tracks and stuff, but I think, yeah, he's got a sort of, obviously it's still a form of car racing, but I think it's going to take a lot for him to adapt from being in the cockpit of an F1 car to go into the racing seat of a DTM car, because it's just a completely different car and it's got a completely different.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that was people.
I don't know, function, you could say. I think.
Yeah.
I think what they wanted to try and do, and what Red Bull are trying to say, is they're trying to get Alex Albon in the mentality of a different race and try and get him to drive differently from what he was doing. They want him to have more pace, and this might give him the option to brake a little bit later or a little bit more confidence for him. We never know until he actually does it, so it's going to be interesting. Right, let's go on to the last segment. Actually, before we get into that, there's one thing I want to talk about, and the one thing I'm excited about that's coming out next month, and it has been announced it's going to be February. Aston Martin F1 are going to be revealing what the car looks like. We gather it's going to be dark green by the logo and everything.
Racing green.
I might get slightly horny over this. I'm not going to lie, because I'm a massive Aston Martin fan as it is. What are you guys excited to see the new birth?
Just please don't
definitely.
fuck it up, Aston Martin. That's all I'm saying. Please don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Just don't let Stroll drive it around the corner and might flip over. Or bring Mazapin. We've decided we've got Mazapin instead of Vettel. I can try and piss more people off. Let's go on to the last thing. I've asked each of you to give me. We're going to make 3 bold predictions that are going to happen in the 2021 season. And then at the end,
and then 3 of them.
No,
3
each. 3 each.
3
each. From all of us and me as well. That we're going to make for the 2021 season, and at the end of the 2021 season, we will go through what we have said and see how far off we actually were. So I'm going to kick it off.
No.
Perez is going to outperform Max Verstappen.
Fuck's sake, is that my one?
I can see it happening. I can see it happening.
Yeah, so can I.
I can see it, definitely.
See? I'm not just a pretty face. Josh, I'm going to go to you.
I went to this one a bit last week, but Tsunoda will outperform Gasly by a mile. And I mean, colossal fucking words. Landslide.
Connor.
McLaren are going to be up there this season. I think they're going to be up there with, not quite Mercedes standard, but possibly the likes of Red Bull and the likes of that. I just think they've taken the time to improve their team. They've taken the time to improve their car, and I think this season that's going to pay off, and they're going to have a very good season.
Are you saying equal to Red Bull or just behind?
I think it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go down to the last stage of the season, the last 5 races. It's going to go down to that.
That plays neck on the line.
So I think it's going to be tight, and I can't say who's going to finish higher because it's hard to tell. But yeah, I think the fact that they put so much money into improving from where they were, I just think this season is going to pay off.
Okay. I'm going to go back to Josh.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to go with Williams will finish above Haas and Alfa Romeo in the constructor standings. So they'll finish 8th this season in the constructor standings.
Okay.
Right. Again, I can see that happening for the fact that they've made no additions to the car, and I think
and the Latifi money always helps. So
say that again.
Williams will outperform Haas and Alfa Romeo in 2021.
You bastard. That's what I was going to go for.
Ah.
Haas and who?
Alfa Romeo.
I'm writing all of these down so we can come back to it in the future. Connor, I'm going to go to you.
Can you skip me so I can think of another one? No, I'm just trying to think about because it's hard to make predictions. Yeah, because it's hard to make predictions when you've got new drivers coming in and you've got new additions made to cars.
Yeah.
So I think it's very hard to say, but Vettel is going to have a good season.
How far? Give us a prediction of standings, and I'll give you within 2 of either side.
Okay. Don't think he's going to finish 1 to 5. I think he's going to be 7th, 8th. I think around there.
Best of the rest around the McLarens, really.
Yeah. I think last season he was just a bit. He got shafted by the car.
Right, yeah,
He couldn't really do anything about that. Even though he's a good driver, and we've seen he's a good driver, it's the fact that he couldn't race as well as he could. Yeah, it's the fact that he couldn't race as well as he could in the car he got given. So I think, this season he's going to have a way better season than he had last season.
Perfect. Right. I've gone for Mazapin to outperform Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, that was one of them I was thinking about saying. But
yeah, I think he's going to outperform. I think he's going to shock people in as good way as he possibly could. I think he's going to outperform Mick Schumacher this season, because I think Mick is going to use this season as getting his foot wet and trying to get an understanding more than try and be competitive in a way. I think he just wants to learn a car underneath him, which I think he sensibly should. But I think in a few years' time, he's going to need to show that he's not in F1 because of his name, which I think he will. But I think he needs to. I think this is the season where he's going to have to learn a lot more than what he's going to do well. So that's my opinion. Connor, I'm going to come back to you. Your final pick of what you think is going to be a bold prediction for this season coming up, and we will review this at the end.
I need to choose very wisely here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna go for this. This is down to whether George Russell stays at
Williams.
If he doesn't stay at Williams, then I can't go with this, because you know if he's in a Mercedes car, it's going to be absolutely rapid. But
Yeah.
I think he is going to finish above where he finished last season, which was 18th. He's going to finish.
Instead of going to finish, how many points do you think he will get in that Williams?
In the Williams car, I think he can get about. I think he's going to get between 20 and 30 next season.
I've won a race, 23 races.
I think he's going to shock us from where he finished this season to this time next year on what we're saying about it.
Yeah.
So, Josh, your final pick or prediction?
I've got one, but I want to save it for our official predictions. All right.
Can I just say, right? So, just before you get into that, I've just had a little look. Connor, you said that you think George Russell's going to get 20 to 30 points in a Williams. This is for if he's in the Williams, yes? This season, he got 3.
Yeah, but he would have, but won the Mercedes deal and 2.
It's a bold prediction, isn't it?
Exactly.
There's bold and then there's crazy. But do you know what? I respect you more for the cojones that you've done for that. So I'm going to put Williams in brackets so we know that if he gets the Mercedes, that doesn't count, and then we can revise that and change it.
No, he said 20 to 30, so if he's in the Mercedes, he's going to get more than 30. Connor's prediction's wrong.
Yeah. If you said 100 and something, then I would have respected you even more for that. Then you've balanced yourself. You might get in between either. Josh, go to you.
Yeah. I'm going to go with. I don't know how bold this is. Leclerc will finish in the driver standings behind. So he'll finish behind the top 2 teams, both McLarens, Sainz, and Vettel. So he'll finish around 8th in the standings.
So you're saying Charles will finish 8th in the standings?
Yeah. I was going to say who I predict to win it, but I think I should say that for the predictions. The official ones.
And my final prediction, my bold prediction, I think Lando Norris is going to outperform Daniel Ricciardo.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that happening. I think he's got the potential.
I think that's more of a 50-50 than any other.
It depends how quickly Ricciardo adjusts to McLaren.
Yeah. So I'm going to send both of you this, but I'm making sure you both can't edit it, Josh, so you don't cheat.
What do you mean, Josh?
Do you see how defensive he got there as well?
You're the one that tried to cheat our official. You're the one that tried to cheat our scores in the official ones that we did.
No, of course I am. I always cheat. That's just me. You know it's going to happen, or I'm going to find a flaw somehow that I can get better than what I originated for.
Well, you just knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, just knew that was going to happen.
Bold prediction: at some point this season, I'm going to cheat.
Hey, take that to the bookies. That's
all right. So I'm going to do a bold prediction. Right. This is not on our sheet. This is different. Bold prediction that you think will happen on our podcast throughout the season. Okay, now hold on. I'm going to rephrase that. Who do you think will win the prediction game? And you can't pick yourself apart from me. You cannot pick yourself. If you had to pick one person, who is going to win the predictions game next season? I'm going to let you guys have a little few minutes to think about it logically and know that I'm the only one who's going to win it because I can cheat my way to win it.
Ryan might win it. He just seems to win all the predictions.
Well, Ryan's not doing it. I refuse to have Ryan on.
He'll somehow win.
He just gets it all the time. It pisses me off. Right. Go on then. Josh, I'm going to go to you. Who do you think will win the prediction game?
I'm going to go Connor because you're more likely to put out a dodgy prediction. You'll get bored halfway through the season, just start throwing out like, Esteban Ocon's going to win at Spa or something. You're more likely to throw out a stupid prediction every once in a while.
Oh, you know me too well. It's very true. I think I probably will. I would laugh if I did like a Monza and I went, I'm going to go with Gasly to win, and then he goes and wins it. I'll tell you what, I'm giving myself triple points that day. I'm telling you, I don't care.
This becomes an ACCA where it's like if you get one red flag, 3 safety cards.
Connor will win. Connor, who do you think is going to win?
I'm just looking at both of them. I've seen you have gone with things to do with drivers and not to do with teams. So I think, again, it's hard because obviously it's a prediction and you have absolutely no clue what's going to happen. But looking at them, I'm going to go with Josh.
Dickhead.
Yeah. Mark can't pick himself, so whoever he predicts out of us is the odds-on favourite.
Well, you picked me and I've picked you, so
yeah. So
we're both in his bad books.
So whoever Mark picks becomes the odds-on favourite to win the predictions.
We're both
Thank
in
you
a
ever so
bad
much,
book
everyone,
because
for
we
watching this
picked it.
episode. I have written down the name already, and I was doing it while you guys were talking. Because I do think this person will win. And I think it will. I don't think it will be close. I think it will be.
That's a nice way to put it.
Huh?
That's a nice way to put it. It won't be close.
No, it won't be.
I know it already.
Close between the. It's going to be the person that's going to win is Mercedes. It's the Mercedes of this group. It will be. There's no point fucking having them around because they're always going to win. So you just look down the order to see what's going to happen between the bottom two. Just have a bit of fun. So I am going for Josh to win.
Pressure's on for me to win now. After that whole he's only done that, by the way, to put the pressure on me to get it right. That's the only reason he's done that.
So what I've done here, and this is for everyone at home as well, is I've done the betting odds for the winners.
Yeah.
Josh is 2-1 on to win the prediction game. Connor is 5-1 on to win the prediction game.
Mark's got a Leicester odds here, doesn't he?
I am 2,001.
That's cool, dude. He's got Leicester odds.
I literally have.
And you just know that he's gonna do it as well, don't you? You just know that Mark is.
Can I whack a fiver on that, Mark? Mark, can I whack a fiver on you winning it?
No. Because you lot didn't fucking pick me. So you fuckers, yeah. So you fuckers can suffer. If I win, right, so I'm calling this now. If I win, which very unlikely, because I know, as what Josh said, I will get bored halfway through and just throw George Russell in to win just for the laugh of it, knowing me that I will do stupid shit like that. If I win, you both have to do the forfeit. Not one of you, both of you.
What do the forfeits look like?
We ain't got a clue yet.
Yeah, we'll decide later on.
Yeah, we're going to decide throughout the season, before the start of the season.
What we should have multiple, we draw it out of a hat.
Yeah, and then we'll get multiple ideas of what to do.
No, so it's just random ones in a hat, and you shake it around and pick one out.
And then we will do that before the start of the very first race of the season, where we will work out who will be doing it. Right, thank you guys ever so much for joining. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Josh, for coming on. We'll be seeing Josh a lot more, just every fucking podcast at this moment. Moving forward, so he will be coming on. I have sent Connor and Josh, and he just send it to you in a minute as well. Over the predictions that we've got, you both can't edit apart from me.
No request to edit.
You can request it.
I'll say no.
I'm saying no, so don't worry about that.
And the odds, can we go think about each race, odds change slightly. So you know how, like, for a season, the odds change slightly?
Yeah.
Can we do that? So, like, when we get halfway through, we revise those odds?
Yeah, we will. Yeah. I'm sticking with 2,001 because I know how far behind I'm going to be.
So when Mark's 10 points clear in Italy, and he's still 2,001, everyone whack onto Mark's.
I'm going to go to evens at that point. You fuckers didn't trust me before. You're not having it now.
Mark usually goes 1 point clear for the rest. As soon as Mark goes 1 point clear at any point, evens odds straight away.
As soon as I just do well, evens, done. It doesn't move from there either because you lot didn't trust me before. It's just not moving again. So thank you ever so much. We will see you guys next week where we will revise the latest news and we will do a mini game like we did today, bold predictions. We might pick the three worst. You got any ideas of what you guys think we should try and predict? Put down in the comments down below or tweet us at the Robbo's Gobcast F1 Twitter page, and we will be happy enough to talk to you guys then. I hope you all have a lovely week. If there is anything you guys need, don't forget to come and check us out and we'll message us, do whatever you guys need to do. Don't forget we have a special guest coming up tomorrow for everyone watching this. on the NFL show. I'm one-on-one sitting down with a former NFL coach who is coming on, and I will be sitting down with him, sort of things all 2020 season and the build up to the playoffs and the Super Bowl coming up as well. And then we will be back again Friday with Josh and Ryan to build up to the FA Cup this weekend.
Exciting FA Cup tie. Oh.
Exciting FA Cup tie
The
against
most
Luton.
exciting FA Cup tie ever in English football. Reading versus Luton.
FA Cup history.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was watching the
we're
game.
we're probably going to get smacked 5 or 6-0 as well.
I really couldn't care how this result goes. It just rest players. That's all I care about. Anyway, this is not a Reading podcast. This is a Formula One. We will see you guys next week with all love and care. And everyone, take care of yourselves. Bye.
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 Bye. My chin's got like Jabba the Hutt. Bye. Yeah,